Hello Steelers and welcome to another bench report hobby update. I've actually been quite busy this week. I managed to get quite a lot painted. Given the last few weeks, as I said before in last week's update, I was pretty quiet with the painting just because of various personal things going on. Lots of organising and that kind of stuff, so I just didn't get a chance to do as much painting as I would have liked. But I turned my attention back to the Warlord Epic stuff, and I just finished off the sprue of figures from the Inner Skillings which I'd painted the previous week. And so this was another stand of the 95th Rifles. They're going to go together into a battalion. I'm just building those up. I think there were 3 battalions fought at Waterloo in total, so they're going to be eventually put together as 3 full battalions. I also have as well the ADC or Brigadier, whichever game you're playing, of part of those. I've just been painting these. I'm probably going to have millions of them by the end of the whole painting session. And also the artillery piece as well, 9-pounder Royal Horse Artillery as well. And again, these have been really helped by just use of those magnifying glasses. I honestly, I cannot tell you how good they have made my painting experience over the last few weeks. The other thing as well I painted was, you may remember in the birthday update that I did last week, Dave Kenyon bought me a couple of sets of the special cavalry stuff, so the Guard cavalry for the French. He gave me the Grenadiers of the Guard cavalry, and also the chasseurs à cheval of the Guard as well. So I painted these lads. I thought I'm going to dive straight in. I've been talking about doing some French cavalry for a while and I just haven't got around to it. I keep falling back on the infantry, so I thought, right, I'm going to paint these fellas with resplendent in their red and their green and their gold uniforms, you know, very flashy fellas. But that wasn't all though. I managed to paint quite a lot of other things as well. So I turned away from the red and the green to US drab, and I actually painted a full platoon of the US Army for Vietnam. Now these are the 15mm Battlefront figures that I've had for a while now. They've just been sitting in a box, and I just thought, right, pull your finger out and just do something with them because they're relatively easy to paint. So this is the full platoon for Charlie Don't Surf. I made a slight mistake. Instead of putting a recoilless rifle in the weapons team, I put a light anti-tank weapon in there, but I'll swap that out at some point in the future. Also, it needs a couple more big men as well. Now for Charlie Don't Surf, I need at least 2 more of these platoons, so that's something I'm going to be working on soon, and I've kind of proved to myself that they don't actually take that long, but I need to buy them in first of all. Now I'm just wondering whether to get them from Battlefront or from Peter Pig, or do a bit of a mix of both, one from each, and then just mix them up, because I like both of their figures, and just to give me quite a few different poses and things. But I've kind of settled on a ratio for the bases as well with the 10-man squads. So basically it's going to be 3 men individually mounted, 2 bases with 2 men on, and then 1 base with 3 men on as well. So that just makes it a lot easier for going forward from this point. I also sorted out some of the figures that Dean had given me as well, and while I was going through the box I remembered that he'd actually given me some bunkers as well. These are VC bunkers with heavy machine guns emplaced in them. Now, when he'd given them to me, they were perfectly fine. However, they just didn't match my tabletop. So what I've done is I've basically gone back to them. I've added flock on so they will fit with my mat, and also just added some extra foliage as well onto these, and just give them a very light dry brush on the wood and logs and things that he put on. So very light touch really. So it's kind of a combination of mine and Dean's work on those ones. Mostly his, I've got to say. I just basically give him a new haircut at this point, but they were a nice easy thing to do. What I might do is I might turn as well towards looking at some of those choppers that he gave me as well, and just working my way through some of those, repairing some of them, repainting bits and pieces as needs be. But that's something in the future. As I say, at the moment I'm just thinking about what to do with the US infantry at the moment, whether to get those Peter Pig or the Battlefront ones, and see where we go from there. I don't need a huge amount more, about another, well, 2 platoons is going to be another 80 figures thereabouts. I think it's about 96 including big men and things. So it's not a massive amount of figures to paint through, especially when they're all pretty much in the same uniform. And then I'm going to have to turn back to the VC. But In the post, I didn't get a huge amount of stuff actually. Again, because I'm kind of a bit just on the backwards slope of the birthday, and also just working through all the stuff that I've got. But I did, because I was painting the Chasseurs à Cheval, I thought I'm going to have a look at some of these more of these contrast paints. Some of these ones are from Citadel, so these are the ones I've got here, and I bought these. These came in this week. I decided this because I've used their contrast paints on horses in the past, and I like them. I can't think it's snakebite leather I generally use for the base, and then a darker one for the, I can't remember all the names of them, a darker brown one for the manes and the tails. I just kind of want to switch it up a bit, especially for the French, because they have they were trying to get horses from all over the place rather than having specific ones, for that campaign. So I got Seagore Brown or Cygore Brown or Kyborg Brown. I've got Wildwood, which is another dark brown. I've also got Grunter Fur. Amazing titles on these. Just call them brown. Black Templar and also Basilicum Grey as well. I got the Black Templar and the Grey for the heavy horses, very specifically because they would have, from my understanding, is that they would have rode on black horses. So I've got those to try those out and see how they turn out. Otherwise, I'll just go back to painting them black. The other thing I got in the post as well, this was very unexpected because I'd actually ordered something else. I'd ordered a First World War book about divisional command, but I ended up getting Battles and Battlefields of the Peninsular War. This came through from Helion and Company. I've got to say it was a very, very quick turnaround on the postage, and to be fair, it's actually quite an interesting book, but it is the wrong book. I'm going to have a look through this anyway, but I have emailed them just to see if I can get a return or just swap it out and get the book that I did actually order. But as always with Helion, these things are absolutely, they're beautifully put together. A really good publishing house, and they go that extra mile. This is a paperback, and it's basically a tourist guide to the battlefields of Spain and Portugal of the Peninsular War. So it's quite an interesting book in itself. I like this kind of thing where it shows you, modern day images of battlefields of the past as much as anything else, and then just gives you some background into them. So there's quite a lot in here. I'm not going to go through it too much because in case I do end up sending it back, but we got everything you'd expect, like Talavera, let's have a look, Saragossa, Medellin, Ocana, the River Coy, Buctasco, Fuentes de Oro. So, a description of the battlefield and also how it looks today and how to visit it and stuff. And like I say, I kind of like these travel books. I've yet to go to Portugal and I've yet to go to mainland Spain, so one day I will, and I will force my wife to do the retreat to Corunna at one point. I'm sure she'll enjoy that. So yeah, that's all that's come in the post really. Like I say, a bit of a mix up there, but still an interesting book, and I'm just waiting for Helion to get back to me about that. At the club, I played Bag the Hun. I thought I was going to be playing the Chitra campaign with Dex this week, but then he reminded me that he's actually on holiday this weekend, so I'd completely forgotten. So instead, I quickly put together a game of Bag the Hun in Malaya with Simon and his son Will. I think it was Will's played a few games here and there, so mostly Games Workshop stuff. He's played Blood Red Skies, a few other bits and pieces. He's only 13. But it was hopefully it was a nice introduction to him for playing something slightly different to your typical Warlord or Games Workshop games. We had a great laugh. I took 2 Ki-51 Sonya, 3 Ki-51 Sonyas. I gave Will 3 Ki-43 Oscars, and then also Simon was attacking us with Blenheims, 4 Blenheims. I thought 4 Blenheims might be enough, but it wasn't. He ended up with 2 of them getting shot down, and I think only a tiny bit of damage on the Japanese plane. So it kind of played out exactly how the Malaya air campaign did in real life. But it was good fun, and I think it was just nice to introduce somebody to wargaming, or a little bit of historical wargaming that probably hasn't done it in the past so much. Hopefully we'll come back down to the club, and at some point I'd said to Simon that I'm happy to set up something else, maybe a World War II land game or something like that, you know, maybe something like Chain of Command, or even I Ain't Been Shot Mum, who knows. So that's for the future, but that's all I played this week, really. Been pretty quiet. I'm currently working on a video for Chain of Command about movements, because there has been a lot of talk recently because of some review videos about Chain of Command that nobody moves in Chain of Command, which is utter nonsense if you ask me. So I'm currently working on a video, a how-to video about that, and just about how you go about moving about the battlefield when you're faced with German LMGs, for example. That's taken a while because I had to do the voiceover. I'm currently editing the voiceover, and then I'm going to have to film all the portions for it. Once I've done that bit, it's quite a simple process of just slicing everything together, but you know, it all has to be scripted, it all has to be recorded, etc, etc. So it does take a while, so it won't be out for a while, but it'll be along, hopefully in a few weeks, because I've still got a couple more videos to push out over the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. I will also say, if you've enjoyed this video and any of the other videos as well, do hit that subscribe button. It's always appreciated. It's free. If you hit the bell button as well, you also get notifications whenever I upload videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, you can do for as little as £1 a month over on Patreon, where you will get early access for videos like this, ad-free, and also other videos I put out as well, and same with the channel memberships as well. So I'll leave it at that. Say thanks as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video.